Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's time for devotion while we get ready for the day. I've been taking a little break because life has been crazy busy, but now we are here in a new month, so I should say happy October. So getting right into today's scripture, it's Romans 8:18, which reads, "For I reckon that the sufferings of this present time are not worthy to be compared to the glory that shall be revealed in us." So y'all know that my life is literally this scripture, and over the course of the past 7 years specifically, I have endured a lot of suffering back to back in my childhood. I mean, let's just go down the list, starting from 2017, becoming a pastor's kid, which was an absolute nightmare at first. 2018, Hurricane Michael, which was my first real experience with a natural disaster and actually being affected in major ways. And then 2019, I lost my Meemaw, and 2 days after losing Meemaw, I had scoliosis surgery. And then, of course, we all know what the next year was like after that, 2020, which was a pandemic. And then 2021 for me was a lot of personal family drama left and right. And then finding out Pop had cancer again for the second time. And then 2022, I had a major friendship breakup that was least expected. And it was around the same time that my Pop was getting more sick and had a heart attack. And then 2023, my Pop passed away. So as you can imagine, with all of these sufferings, in that process and in those seasons, I will not lie to you that it was sometimes impossible to see how so much good could come from something so bad, especially when you get hit back to back every year. It makes you question, how does God get the glory out of all of this? I remember the exhaustion of each year hitting me because so much was happening and there were moments I didn't understand. And sometimes I would just cry because I felt a million things at once. And sometimes I didn't know what I was feeling, but knowing that things weren't getting better and being in the middle of all of that made me question, when or if things would get better. In our lives, there's going to be moments of anxiety and frustration and disappointment and, just the overwhelming emotions. But you have to remind yourself that the sufferings you are currently going through are not worthy to God's glory that's going to be revealed. And this scripture is such a strong encouragement to Christians going through suffering seasons. And it's also a reminder to us that suffering is not the end and that there is a far more greater reward for endurance and trials. And I will be completely honest with y'all and say that I never saw a year as good as 2024 headed my way. 2024 has been my comeback year and has blessed me beyond measure. It's given me pieces of my childhood and fun that I lost because I had to grow up so fast. And when you experience trauma so young, you grow up faster. And that was the case for me. I have two amazing best friends that I call my siblings. One of the biggest ways that God has ever shown me his love for me was through them. And they are such a huge part of my journey and my world and my life. And they were meant to be a part of this journey. And we've stuck together through the best and the worst. And when God took certain people out of my life, he replaced me with something so much better than I ever could have imagined. And along the lines of friendship, this past summer, I had the God-given opportunity to reconcile with one of my childhood best friends after a 2-year friendship breakup. And I remember the feelings of manipulation, disappointment, shock, and even anger, and also betrayal. And looking back, if you asked me if I thought there would be any conflict resolution, I would have said no, just because I was so distraught. But because God had placed people in my life around that time, the friendship fell apart. I managed to get over the situation as time went on. And I just left it up to God on whether or not he wanted our paths to cross again or if it was a solid end. But to be at a place of peace where you forgive someone and you don't have any strife with anybody is so powerful. Just one more personal example. I had major scoliosis surgery, as you guys know, and I had one of the most severe cases of scoliosis that there is, to be honest. And this was a season of life that was hard on me physically because I was always tired, always in pain, never feeling good. And just the constant dependence of medication was affecting me in other areas of life. And I remember the sleepless nights, lots of tears, swelling, pillows, medication, doctor's appointments, traveling out of state, the stitches, more swelling, more tears, more medication, and all that stuff from surgery. When you fast forward to now, 5 years and 3 months, you can't even tell that I have surgery, and it is absolutely fantastic. And although I still have pain and muscle spasms and my nerves are still healing, knowing that I'll never feel completely back to normal again, it's better than continuing on in the state that I was in previously. So these are just examples in my life of suffering, but also how God's glory was revealed in those times. And so if you are going through something right now that feels like nearly impossible to get through, you just have to remind yourself that the painful moment is not meant to last forever. And there's always hope in the end for you if you just trust God and walk with God in the valley just as much as you do in the mountain. I hope you guys enjoyed getting ready with me this morning and devotion. I love you guys so much, and I'll see you next week.